Welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset. And today is Mobick Monday, so it has been maybe a week or two, but there has been some big updates recently. So I wanted to just cover those big updates. We have the Gwanak 1-year anniversary for the very first airdrop. So that's a huge event, obviously for BitMobick. That was the very start of where this all began, obviously outside of Mr. Orr's mind. We have a lot of social things that Mobickers are really starting to do in the world, some potential updates with Samsung, and we also have my particular favorite, a potential League of Legends. So let's get into the episode. So yes, today is all about the updates because there are some huge updates, massive BitMobick updates. So if all of these updates come to fruition, we're going to see some very exponential network growth. I think everything that's happening in the social scene that the Mobickers are doing is wonderful. It's a positive impact on society. Plus, if they do infiltrate into the hearts and minds of Samsung, it's going to be very, very big. So, and then also the League of Legends, like I mentioned. So this is the 1-year anniversary coming up for the very first airdrop. So obviously the design of the airdrop was that people traveled somewhere where they would expel lots of physical energy and time and cost. So this was a hike in Gwanak Mountain. So people hiked all the way just to see Mr. Orr and receive their airdrop of BitMobick. So now they're actually going to have an anniversary celebration, perhaps some kind of a conference to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of this event. And much like all their special events, they'll be given a uniquely designed paper wallet for the event, which is basically just like an NFT. And there's people within the community who are really collecting these. So I'll just show a very brief little clip of that. Obviously up here we have Mr. Orr, and here's all the people lined up all the way down the mountain. So we'll just quickly play this little clip. So people would line up with him, take a picture. Here you go. You see this young man with his Mobick paper wallet. So very lucky. I'm not sure how much Mobick he got in that paper wallet, but yeah, I think it would have been a lot. It would have been possibly in the hundreds or maybe even 1,000. I'm not too sure. So these guys are really lucky, but they put the effort in and they got the reward. And because of that, they are the nucleus of the network. So this is really wonderful. Okay, so Mr. Orr's books. So Mr. Orr obviously is South Korean, and he's the most famous author for Bitcoin in South Korea. And really, he's an authority on Bitcoin in South Korea. So at the moment, with the ETF news, really all the media companies are really trying to get him onto their program to talk about Bitcoin. So his books, Geopolitics, US Dollar, and Bitcoin, and The Great Bitcoin are actually being translated into English. So hopefully within this year, we'll actually be able to start reading these books in English. However, so here we go, The Great Bitcoin. I did get my version of The Great Bitcoin, so I'm not sure how well you can see it here or not. I'm actually I'll stop this. So I've got The Great Bitcoin, but obviously it's all in Korean. So I can't actually read the Korean. So, well, actually I can read Korean, but I don't understand it. So I can read Hangul, but I don't understand it. And I'm hoping Robin, who introduced me into BitMobick, will actually help me learn some more Korean so I can read it. And this, obviously, I've got this beautiful postcard as well. So again, thank you very much. And Mr. Orr's signature and a lovely little message here. So very simple from Mr. Orr at the top. So Stephen. So November 28th. Oh, November 28th. That's a very special day in general for me. That was a day that I got married. So I'm not married anymore, but it's a special day. It was also going to be the SEC case for Richard Hart. So it's a very significant date in my life for some reason. And also a lovely little message there. So thank you very much for that beautiful, beautiful present. So now back into the episode. Okay, so the baby Mobickers. So obviously, the last episode I was talking about from the 1st of January that newborns were given 1 Mobick. And that newborn actually has now over 40 Mobicks. So they had a celebration on the 15th of January where Mobickers came together and basically made an event out of it, and they, out of their hearts, donated more Mobick to this baby's paper wallet, and that baby now has over 40 Mobick. So that baby is probably the richest baby on the planet. Almost. So what they've also done now, several more hospitals have been added into the program. And there's actually only 200 hospitals in South Korea where women can give birth. So it's not going to take a very long time for them to actually introduce this program into every single hospital in South Korea. And it's very important for them. And it's hopefully an incentive to promote women or families having more children, because the birth rate in Korea is really declining, and it's a big, big crisis in Korea at the moment. So this is one of the many social obligations. What would the word be? It's one of the many social things that Mobick is really trying to do. So this cryptocurrency, what makes it so unique is that it's really trying to impact society as well. That's really one of the powerful things about Mobick. That's what I personally love about it. That was one of the things that really resonated with me, and this program is one example of that. Another example of that, the Mobickers Foundation. So with the Mobickers Foundation, they have over 60 Mobickers in this foundation, and all the members try to send around 12 Mobick per year to basically operate the foundation. And this foundation is designed to help people in need. So the very first organization that they've chosen to help, they've chosen to sponsor Iri Orphanage. So they donate Mobick to Iri Orphanage from the foundation. And at the moment, they're planning on sending around 3,300 Australian dollars per month. And this is just the very first of the foundation. So obviously, as the price of BitMobick increases, they're going to start to expand out what kind of organizations they can help. So this is a really wonderful endeavor by Mobickers in Korea to really implement this into society in a positive, a socially positive way. So the concept of public goods is really permeating into the way that people are trying to integrate this into society, which is really wonderful to see. So here are some of the big-hearted people from the Mobickers Foundation who are in front of the Iris orphanage to actually present to them this opportunity. So in last episode as well, I spoke about Apple. So there was plans with an Apple store to sign a contract to give Mobick away with 10,000 iPhones. Obviously, Apple is an American company, and really the company I think that they really want, Mr. Orr really wants, is Samsung, because it's a Korean company, but they're very high-nosed, so they haven't really given a lot of time. So what they've actually done instead, they've spoken directly to a retailer who sells Samsung Galaxies. So what they're trying to do, again, that same process of selling 10,000 Samsung phones and basically proving that they can sell these 10,000 Samsung phones by giving Mobick. And in that process, create lines out the store, create hype for this store, and in the end, show the results of the power of Mobick. So obviously Samsung is not really willing to come to the table because they're not really treating it seriously. But once they get the results and they see for themselves, hang on a minute, this could be huge, then they might start coming to the table. And the way I look at this, perhaps not on this level, but if you think of a company called Blockbuster, where you would used to go to hire videos out, that company really rejected the concept of Netflix. So the people who founded Netflix went to Blockbuster and said, hey, what about if we put all these movies on the internet and stream them? And no, that's a ridiculous idea. People love coming to Blockbuster. There's another story to do with CDs as well. A big company, big CD store company. Again, same thing. People would come to them and say, what about if we stream this music online? And they rejected the idea. So they weren't with the times. And this is not to say that Samsung is not with the times. Samsung is an extremely innovative company. They're doing a lot with artificial intelligence. They're really on the forefront of a lot of technologies. But perhaps this is an opportunity that they might be overlooking because they're not seeing it for what it is. So hopefully something like this, where we do get the results through this endeavor, they might actually start to open their hearts and their minds to this idea. And again, once that happens, the network expands because the outreach of Samsung is not just within Korea, it's global. They are one of the biggest companies on the planet. So that would be very, very exciting because results always speak louder than anything. You can have any plan that you want, but the results do the loudest talking. Now, JTBC, on to the next slide. Obviously, JTBC is one of the big 5 media companies in South Korea that, as part of the public goods, they have actually been accepted as part of the public goods and will be basically helping grow the network of Mobick, obviously, and also for their interest as well, expanding themselves. So through Mobick, however they choose to use it, I've come up with just some dream ideas. For example, it was just a ridiculous idea, but let's say Squid Games. It could be like some kind of gaming show, and the prize for the gaming show is Mobick. Obviously not Squid Games because, you know, we don't want anybody to die. But this is just one idea that JTBC could do. There's so many different ideas they could do. They could do something like, watch this show, and when you see like a secret QR code pop up in the show, make sure you scan it. And if you scan it, then you get the BitMobick. And they won't tell you when it is, so you're forced to watch the whole thing. It might even come up in the advertisements as well. So again, you're forced to watch the whole thing. They're getting revenue through advertising. So these are just a couple of ideas that I've just pulled out of my head just now. There's so many different ways that they could approach this, but just like with any big company, the progress is slow. So these things take months. So there's not really a lot of advancements there, but because they are one of the big 5 media companies in South Korea, it's still extremely exciting. This hasn't even hit the market yet. It hasn't even hit the eyeballs of the viewers of JTBC yet. So once that does, again, exponential growth for the network. This is my favorite, League of Legends. So League of Legends is a free-to-play game, and it is huge in South Korea. And the gaming scene in general is huge in South Korea. And as a matter of fact, somebody told me years ago, I don't know if this is real or not, somebody told me years ago that the gaming scene is so huge that the government basically bans people from playing video games or accessing the internet potentially below a certain age after a certain time, because it's really like, it's just hype up there. So back into it. So League of Legends it's actually probably one of my favorite games, to be honest. I'm not going to lie, I got very addicted to it. So this is from an event with many, many viewers. So this was from 2019, and the esports scene, so gaming, like gaming, sporting, esports, it's called, where basically it's just competitive gaming, is huge in South Korea. And in fact, it's one of the biggest in the world, possibly only second to China. So the esports scene in South Korea is huge. And so what they're doing at the moment is they're planning an esport competition where the prize will be BitMobick. So this is huge exposure. If now that nothing is confirmed yet, but if this is confirmed, the events can draw over 100 million viewers worldwide. So this event here, this is from a 2019 event that drew over 100 million viewers. So again, the potential for network expansion is growing exponentially. If this actually happens, this is huge news for BitMobick. So thank you very much. Again, like, I'm loving this BitMobick community, loving seeing what they're doing, how they're actually using the BitMobick to positively benefit society, and how the innovative ideas that they're utilizing to actually help expand the network. This is something that I don't see really in any other cryptocurrency. Not to this degree, not to this degree of passion, not to this degree of love and care for the rest of society, and actually with the thoughtfulness of how can we actually make this world a better place. It's not just about profiting for myself. It's about utilizing this power, this energy that comes through money, that comes through wealth. How can we actually utilize this to make the world a better place? And this is something that Bitcoin is not doing. Bitcoin at the moment is really just trying to extract value out of everybody to make itself grow. And it's not a criticism against Bitcoin. It doesn't have a centralized authority or a centralized foundation that's actually trying to engage with the world in this particular kind of way. And this is something that Mr. Orr was really, really big on. And this is some of the things that he really wanted to push in his theories about what can actually be done with cryptocurrency. So to see it unfold through our eyes in the very early stages, again, 1 year, we're coming up to the 1 year anniversary of the first airdrop. And look at all these things that have happened. Go through all my videos and watch the innovations that have happened just over the past year. So this is all just from one man's effort, and then the community that's come to him, that's gravitated towards him, that he's attracted into his life. And from there, this network just keeps growing and keeps growing. Now we're sitting here. The next scale out of the network is it is truly exponential. It's truly exponential. It's not just me telling you. I mean, me telling you over YouTube creates an exponential effect, but then getting it in front of an audience of hundreds of millions of viewers on an esports game, getting it in front of all the viewers who watch JTBC, who know nothing about cryptocurrency, nothing about BitMobick. It's really exponential exposure. This is phenomenal, and it's happening with the children. It's happening with babies, with families that know nothing about cryptocurrency. It's a talking point. Like it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and better. And this is the people who are really the powerhouses of BitMobick. I have a very good relationship with one of them in particular, and this is where they get all their energy from, and I just love it. I get that energy from him as well. I just really love seeing their passion for wanting to change the world, and it gives them meaning, and it gives meaning to the world. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Hope you're excited about BitMobick. And as always, if you do want to buy it, you can reach out to me. There is someone in the US who you can go through, but reach out to me and I'll connect you with him. And also, if you want to buy it in Australian, I can connect you with the Australian buyer. So at the moment, it is all peer to peer. So in Korea, obviously they have an app, Mobick Mania, where it's being done through the app, but it hasn't expanded out to the world there. So really, we're still very early. So in one way, there is that risk. You have to have that degree of trust in myself and what I'm saying. But in the other way, the highest risk equals the highest reward. Thank you very much.